royal, I forgot how to say it. It's in the royal measure. What it means that in English, in American English, people don't use meters, centimeters, or they don't use kilometers or anything like that. They use the royal system. The royal system is different. They use words such as inches, that will be pulgadas, feet, pies, yards, son yardas, and finally miles. And they are like a little bit different than the ones that we use in Spanish. In the case of the inches, an inch is exactly 2.54 centimeters. In the case of the foot, they are exactly 33.33 centimeters. In the case of a yard, it is exactly 99.9 centimeters. And in the case of a mile, that's a little bit different. It is 1.6 kilometers. So the thing is that it's very difficult to know this. But for example, if you say 6'3", it means 6 feet, 6 pies, 3 inches, 3 pulgadas. So it would be 6, so it will be 360, another 60, 120, and another 60, it is 180. It will be something like 190 something, 191, 193, something like that. And yeah, that's why it is so tall, this girl. The expression curly hair, it means that it is ondulado, es así como que pelo chino. Straight blonde hair, the word straight means lacio, blonde hair, rubio. And the word skinny means super delgado, es así como que muy delgado. So that is the way in which we are going to be talking about different kinds of expressions to describe someone. So now that we already finished with this little exercise, what we're going to do is to talk about a little bit of grammar. Vamos a ver un poquito de grammar aquí. Yo sé, no es algo que queramos ver siempre, but what we're going to do here is that we are going to check out some questions and how to describe some people. As you can see here, we have several questions, and these questions are related to descriptions of other people. Like, for example, do Haley and Heather look alike? No, they look totally different. As I told you before, the expression look alike means if they are similar. You can use this expression with any kind of thing that you want. You can use it for people, you can use it for objects, you can use it for animals, whatever. But the thing is that you need to set up that you're talking about two different people, two different animals, two different things, or whatever. Like, for example, when you say, do you and your brother look alike? That is one question that you can make. Do you and your brother look alike? Does your house and my house look alike? That's another way in which you can do it, because you're talking about if they are similar. Another expression that we have here is, what does Haley look like? As I told you before, the expression look like is the one that we use in order to know how one person, one animal, or one thing looks like. So that means how it is physically. When you say, how does your brother look like? You're asking, how is that person physically? Or for example, how does your dog look like? You're talking about the dog physically. So the thing is that when you use this expression, it's because you want to know how one person, one animal, or one thing is physically. When you have the expression, who does she look like? It's a little bit different. When we're using what does he look like, or what does Haley look like, or whatever, you want to know the description of that person. But on the other hand, if you're using who does she look like, you want to know a person that is similar to that person. For example, she looks like her father. Or for example, when you say, he looks like, I don't know, Tom Cruise, or she looks like Emma Watson. So you are referring to another person that you have in mind, and they are similar too. So that is the difference when you're using what or when you're using who. You need to know what are the differences. When you're using what is because you want to know the description, and when you're using who, you want to know the person that he or she looks like. In the expression of how tall, as I told you before, when you're using how and you use an adjective in here, it's because you're talking about one quality that the person has, and you want to know like how much of that quality. How tall, qué tan alto. How deep, qué tan profundo. How big, qué tan grande. How small, qué tan pequeño, and so on. So you can use any different kinds of adjectives in order to make these kind of questions. When you use how and then you use an adjective, it becomes a question related to that quality. All right. On the other hand, when you say what color is Haley's hair or any other part of her body, what color are her eyes, what color is her hair, what color is her dress, you can use it with anything that you want to know what is the color about. And well, the next question is exactly the same. Now, something that happens here, and it is the use of have got and the use of have. The idea is that when you're using have got, is because you're talking about British English, you know? For example, when you say, I've got a house. This expression that it's I've got a house is because that house belongs to me. La casa me pertenece. Tengo una casa. But if you don't want to use I've got, you can say only I have a house. It's exactly the same because I am talking about something that belongs to me. Estoy hablando acerca de algo que me pertenece. Por otro lado, on the other hand, when we're talking about parts of our body, it's very common to use I've got or she's got. For example, in my case, in the case of my eyes, I've got dark brown eyes. En mi caso, yo tengo ojos color café oscuro, right? So that is the thing. When you want to express that you're talking about one part of your body or something like that, you can use the expression I've got, and it is more common than saying only I have, all right? On the case that you have here, here it says who's got is the same as asking who has got. I've got, I have got, or he's got, he has got. So these ones are the contractions that you can use. But remember, in American English, it's more common to say only I have and talk about the object that you own. For example, I have a house, I have a car, my brother has a wife, my sister has a car, or whatever. But when you're talking about parts of your body, you can say, I've got blue eyes, or I've got a bird, for example. In my case, by the way, I am going to shave because me parezco que tengo barba de indigente. So it is like that. Now, something very important as well as in the case of the heights. Cuando hablamos acerca de altura. When we're talking about heights, we use the royal measurements. What is the royal measurements? That they are inches, feet, yards, and miles. And they are kind of different from the ones that we use in Spanish because I don't know why they use it, but they are really used to it. No sé por qué lo usan, están bien acostumbrados a eso. What happens here is that they usually say, for example, her father is 6'7", all right? When they say 6'7", they don't mean that it's like 67 something. No, they say that it's 6 foot 7 inches, all right? And it is exactly the same as to saying this. He is 6 foot 7 inches tall. Mide 6 pies con 7 pulgadas de alto. Se nos hace raro, pero es parte de la propia, del propio uso del idioma en el inglés, porque ellos están acostumbrados a utilizar las unidades reales de medida. They are called like that. She is 1 meter 90, so that means that it's like 1 meter 90 tall. Lo que les había dicho anteriormente, 6 foot 7 inches viene siendo el equivalente a decir 1 metro con 90. All right, so it is like that. But it is only the equivalent, and it is not very exact because you need to know like all the centimeters and stuff. So that is basically how you make a description of a person. Obviously, we can make more descriptions, but these ones are physical descriptions, all right? How tall, or you can say like, how much does he weigh, or how much does he weigh, all right? because you can use that expression as well. All right. So by now, do you have any questions so far? Mauricio, Josue?
No, no have
Oh,
question.
all
No.
right, all right. That sounds really, really good. Okay, I am going to take give me 1 second. I am going to take a screenshot. I am going to send it on the WhatsApp, so you can have it there and you can have it on hand. Now that we're finished with this, we are going to continue with the next exercise. The exercise that we have here is basically to choose the correct words to complete each one of the questions that we have here. And we are going to try to use the expressions that we saw on the previous exercises. Like, for example, here we have the expression, how tall are you? Since we are talking about one quality, in this case, the word tall, we use the expression how because we want to know how tall, qué tan alto es una persona. In this case, you can use how big, how small, how deep, how whatever, but they need to be an adjective. In the case of the number 2 says, what color have or are your eyes? What will you use, Josue?
What?
The number 2 that says, what color have or are your eyes? Which one would you use? ¿Cuál utilizarías? Have or are? On
What
this
color
one.
have your eyes?
Okay, what color? You said have?
Yes.
Actually, in this case would be are your eyes. Te explico el por qué. Cuando nosotros hablamos acerca de, bueno, más bien, en el inglés no se utiliza tanto la expresión have cuando hablamos acerca de estados. En español nosotros acostumbramos a decir, yo tengo tantos años, yo tengo 30 años, por ejemplo, tengo hambre o lo que sea. Todo eso, el hecho de hablar acerca de edad, el hecho de hablar acerca de cómo me siento, si tengo hambre o no, o el hecho de cómo estoy físicamente, a todo eso se le llama estado, incluyendo los colores de la ropa, bueno, no de la ropa, de los ojos, del color de la piel, el color de, etcétera. En lo único en lo cual no se aplica es con el cabello. Entonces, en este caso, lo correcto es utilizar el verbo to be porque hablamos acerca de los estados. En este caso, el color de los ojos es el estado en el que se encuentran sus ojos. Por esa razón va con la palabra are. ¿Okay? What color are your eyes? ¿Qué color son tus ojos? Esa es la forma en la cual se utilizaría. The number 3, Mauricio, can you make it? Which one do you think is the best? Who do you look like or what do you look like? Your mother or father?
What do you look like?
More or less. If you say what do you look like, it has to be only that question. Si fueras a utilizar what do you look like, tendría que ser solamente esa pregunta, porque así forzas a la otra persona a que te responda I look like, I don't know, whatever, y ya empieza a dar su descripción. Pero por otro lado, si tú preguntas who do you look like, your mother or your father, ya estás haciendo referencia que a quién se parece. Recuerda que la palabra who significa quién. So, who do you look like, your mother or your father? ¿A quién te pareces? ¿A tu mamá o a tu papá? So it is like that.
Okay.
Who do you look like? The number 4, Josue. What color or how color is your mother's hair? What do you think it is, this one?
What color?
Yes. All right, keep going. Read the whole sentence.
What?
Keep going with the rest of the sentence. Continúa con el resto de la oración.
What color is your mother's hair? Bueno, la siguiente es. ¿Es otra?
¿Sí? What do you use? Is it or are they? ¿Qué utilizarías aquí? Is it or are they?
Are they?
Are you sure?
Wait.
We are talking
Is
about
it?
the hair.
Is it?
It, exactamente. ¿Por qué razón se utiliza is it?
Porque
Ajá, dime.
is hair.
Exactly, because we're talking about the hair. It's a non-countable noun. Es un producto no contable. Todos los productos que son no contables siempre van en singular. Siempre, siempre. O sea, esos de plano no cambian. The next one, the number 5, Mauricio. How is it? ¿Cómo quedaría la 5?
In this case, what does your father looks like?
Okay, yes, so it is, what does your father look like? Aquí ya se cumple lo que te había dicho anteriormente. Acá arriba tenemos una pregunta que es un poco extensa y que te incluye los nombres de las personas a las cuales te podrías parecer. Who do you look like? Your mother or your father? ¿A quién te pareces? ¿A tu papá o a tu mamá? Por otro lado, aquí te está preguntando cómo se ve. Si utilizamos la palabra what does your father look like? Estamos preguntando directamente por la descripción de esta persona. ¿Cómo se ve tu papá? O en este caso, ¿cómo es tu papá físicamente? All right. What about the number 6, Josué? How is it?
Does anyone in your family have blue eyes?
Okay, yes. Does anyone in your family have blue eyes? Tanto podemos utilizar have blue eyes como utilizar ambas palabras. Have got blue eyes. Y es exactamente lo mismo. Realmente no hay diferencia. Solo que se acostumbra más a utilizar have got en el inglés británico que en el americano. Pero de ahí en fuera es lo mismo. De igual forma, cuando nosotros hablamos acerca de situaciones relacionadas a cómo nos vemos físicamente, utilizamos have got. Pero esa frase que tú dijiste es la correcta. The number 7. Number 7, Mauricio.
Who's got short hair? In your class, does anyone have long hair?
Exactly. Who's got short hair in your class? ¿Quién tiene cabello corto en tu clase? Does anyone have long hair? ¿Alguno tiene cabello largo? So that's how it is. The number 8, Josué, how is it? Josué, are you there?
Sorry. Do any of your friends look like someone famous?
Exactly. Do any of your friends look like someone famous? And it is like that. And finally, the number 9, Mauricio, how is the number 9?
Do you know any things do they look exactly like?
Alike, exactly. ¿Por qué razón utilizaríamos alike aquí en lugar de solamente like? Porque estamos preguntando si son similares entre sí, si las dos personas son iguales. That's why we use the expression like. Now, as you can see here, we have some common errors about it. Algunos errores que son bastante comunes al momento de estar hablando acerca de descripciones. El primero de ellos es las preguntas. Si nosotros preguntamos what's she like, no es lo mismo preguntar what does she look like. Si utilizamos la expresión what's she like, estamos hablando acerca de qué tipo de persona es, más que nada en cuestión de actitud. Cómo es ella, si es buena persona, si es mala persona, si habla mucho, si habla poco, etcétera, 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 etcétera. Pero si nosotros utilizamos la expresión look like, estamos hablando de manera física. ¿Cómo es esa persona físicamente? De igual manera, otro de los errores que son bastante comunes es que no se debe olvidar utilizar la forma de have. Si nosotros queremos utilizar la expresión got, en automático tenemos que utilizar have o has got. ¿Por qué razón? Porque si utilizamos la palabra got así a secas, estamos hablando acerca del verbo tener en pasado. Si yo utilizo she got long brown hair, estaría diciendo que ella tuvo el cabello largo y café, pero ya no lo tiene así. Pero sin embargo, si yo digo she's got long brown hair, estoy indicando que esa persona tiene el cabello largo y café. O castaño, como le quieran decir. Esos serían dos errores bastante comunes. Se los voy a mandar de igual forma ahí en WhatsApp para que lo tengan a la mano y que lo puedan tomar en cuenta cuando lo necesiten. Pero bueno, chicos, con eso vamos a terminar la clase del día de hoy. El día de mañana no hay clase por ser día festivo, pero voy a subir a la página de Classroom. Mañana mismo les voy a pasar también el link para que puedan acceder ahí a Classroom y que hagan unas cuantas actividades. Mañana por ser día festivo no hay videollamada, entonces pues nos veríamos hasta el lunes. Entonces, ahí mismo en el grupo de WhatsApp voy a mandarles un mensajito junto con la página de Classroom por si gustan ver los videos anteriores, las clases anteriores, y también para que puedan hacer el ejercicio que se van a llevar, como quien dice, de tarea para este fin de semana. De mi parte, eso sería todo del día de hoy. No sé si tengan alguna duda.
Me, I have a
No,
question.
teacher, thank you.
Yes, tell me. ¿Qué